Hi, my name is Abby and welcome to Pathways of Hope. I hope you're having a meaningful Holy Week. Today our Gospel is taken from John chapter 13 verses 21 to 38. And in today's Gospel, we see Jesus predict the decisions of two of his disciples, Simon Peter and Judas. This part of the Gospel is the peak of Jesus' earthly life and ministry, and it's the end and so the beginning of his painful descent into the worst of humanity. It's where he begins to experience the betrayal of his closest friends, psychological warfare, physical torture, and death on a cross. Very gruesome and horrible death. So, in this last meal that he's having with his friends, with his disciples, Jesus offers a piece of bread to Judas. It's giving him a last-ditch effort to allow him to decide. In giving this bread, it's like Jesus is telling Judas, hey, if you take this, you so decide that you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Are you sure you want to do it? Are you sure you want to betray me? And it says that it's only when Judas makes that choice in taking that piece of bread does it say that Satan entered him. Jesus knew all this could happen, but still offered Judas that bread, that second chance. Why? Well, because Jesus loved Judas too. St. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, writes, "But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." That's Romans chapter 5, verse 8. See, Jesus willingly endured suffering. He willingly went for a gruesome death to show that he, although did not deserve it, was willing to show us his disciples what real, true, unconditional, sacrificial love looks like. Jesus, because of his unending love for us, despite the torture, despite the betrayal, willingly died for Judas, for Simon Peter, and for us all. So speaking of Simon Peter, let's look at Simon Peter in today's Gospel. In the entirety of the Gospels, Simon Peter his actions are all intense, passionate. See, he walks on water, he witnesses the transfiguration, he's protective of Jesus. Just a few verses in John's Gospel. Today, Simon Peter wants Jesus not just to wash his feet, but his whole body. Today, he tells Jesus, I'll lay down my life for you. He's intense, he's passionate, he's full of zeal, but he lacks faith, and Jesus knows his friend very well. He predicted what Simon Peter would do, that despite saying, I'd lay down my life for you, Simon Peter later denies ever knowing his close friend, Jesus, not once, not twice, but 3 times. They say, once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, and 3 times is a pattern. But you see, the difference between Judas and Simon Peter is this. When Judas committed sin, he thought that he was too far from God's mercy and his love, God's vast and wide love. He thought that it couldn't reach him, there was no hope for him. Judas lost all hope, and so thought that this was the end of his story, and so decided to end his life. Simon Peter, although flaky, although flawed, still stayed and clung to that hope and faith that he had in his friend, his teacher, Jesus, the Messiah. It's Simon Peter who denies ever knowing Jesus, but it's also Simon Peter that Jesus gives a second chance to undo what he said. 3 times a denial and undone with 3 times a profession of love in his resurrection. If the end of Christ's story was his death, then it's over. It's over for Simon Peter. But we know that this is not the case, so we have hope in the resurrection. It's to Simon Peter, through that confession of love, through Christ's second chance, that Jesus entrusts the responsibility to care for his people and to establish Christ's church here on earth. It's through Simon Peter, flawed as he is, flaky as he is, that Jesus asks to lead his people. The first Pope. You see, God knows how flaky we are. He knows our unfaithfulness. He knows us. He knows every hair on our head. He knows our sin. And yet, He died for us. He showed us love and gives us second chances. If the end of our story is the death of Jesus, then it's over for us. But that's not the case for us. The end of our story is not the death of Jesus, but it's in His victory over evil, over death, over sin, in the resurrection, in the glory of His rising from the dead. So in this Holy Week, may we look to Jesus, that even when we see our own shame, our own failure, our own sin, our own shortcoming, it's something that cannot contain the love of God. It could not contain Jesus. It cannot keep Him dead. Couldn't. Christ's love is way more than that. You see, Jesus the Redeemer already died for you, and that's not something we can undo. And it's not something God has chosen to undo, because He knows and loves us. May we remember God's ultimate sacrifice of love, and let's hang on. Let's hang on to the hope that we have in a God of second chances. If you find this short reflection meaningful, please like and share Pathways of Hope with a friend or loved one. I'm praying for you this Holy Week. May God's peace be with you. Let's remember and hope in Christ. And yeah, God bless.